Let's find out what's the latest. We're joined by DD India Sarah Coates from Tel Aviv Live. Good afternoon to you, Sarah. The US has leveled a fairly serious charge against the Hamas. What does this mean for the ongoing ceasefire talks?
Hello there, good afternoon. Well, certainly no movement as it stands on these ceasefire talks. What we are hearing, though, are reports that Qatar, which of course is one of these main mediators, is now being pushed by the United States to actually make Hamas agree to these talks, which would see these 133 Israeli captives released and also a ceasefire deal put in place. Otherwise, Qatar is being put under pressure to actually expel these Hamas leaders from the tiny Gulf nation. And this is what we've been seeing over the past few days. Ismail Haniyeh, the head of Hamas's Politburo, visiting a number of countries around the region, including Turkey and Oman, for talks. Now, there is a lot of concern, of course, here in Israel. You mentioned these demonstrations overnight as Jews marked the beginning of Passover. A lot of concern that no deal will be done to get these people out. And the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, he is just coming under immense pressure overnight. Demonstrators set fire to cedar tables outside Netanyahu's private residence in Caesarea, demanding that he do a deal now with Hamas to release these people. Now, what we have been seeing really is Hamas, as you mentioned, changing its demands at the very end of these ceasefire talks, demands which include things like increasing the amount of Palestinian prisoners that would be released in exchange for Israeli hostages, and also demanding things like men of fighting age be returned to the northern part of the Gaza Strip. So certainly all of these parties here involved in these negotiations really coming under a lot of pressure. We do need to remember that these Israeli hostages have now been held in the Strip for more than 200 days.
Yes, certainly. That is a very, very grim situation. Now, how far is the failure so far to work out a deal between Israel and Hamas likely to impact the situation on the ground and the expanding theatre of conflict, and also the situation, the political situation in Israel itself?
Well, certainly what we could expect to see over the coming days, over the coming weeks, are plans, preparations being put in place for this Israeli operation down into that southern Gazan city of Rafah. Associated Press has actually released some pictures after identifying and looking at them, analysing them themselves, of tent cities being prepared just west of Khan Yunis. Now, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he has been adamant that there will be an Israeli incursion into that southern city of Rafah, where some more than 1.3 million internally displaced people are sheltering. And this is certainly an area of grave international concern. We have been hearing from the United States. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken came out just on Friday to say that the United States simply does not support a large-scale operation down into that city, given just the sheer number of people that are sheltering there. But we've also heard the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, come out over the last couple of days saying over the Jewish holiday of Passover, what the Israeli military will do is intensify painful blows against Hamas. So certainly this is an area that we need to be very, very closely watching. And as I mentioned, grave international concern that the Israeli military may go down into that city, with the United States saying it still has not seen a plan as to how to get these people out.
All right, let's leave it there at the moment. There is very little light at the moment as far as the situation with the hostages and the ceasefire is concerned. But one can only hope that things somehow work out. Somebody has to give somewhere in order for things to work out. Thanks for joining us for the moment, Sarah.